Dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of ET Government, the Economic Times, I welcome Mr. Rajesh Agrawal, Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. Mr. Agrawal is a BTech in Computer Science from IIT Delhi and 1989 batch IS officer of Maharashtra Academy. Thank you for joining us for the Fireside Chat, sir. I begin the discussion by asking first question to you, sir. Sir, India, which imports 82% of its oil needs, has ambitious plans to bring down imports to 67% by 2022 by replacing it with local exploration, renewable energy, and indigenous ethanol fuel. In your view, how India can achieve this and what kind of resources and capacities are needed as part of your strategic priorities? Over to you, sir.
Okay, let me give you a slightly macro picture without going into the numbers. We use a lot of fossil fuels, which means we use a lot of hydrocarbons, petrol, diesel, gas, etc. Then we use a lot of coal, and then renewables and hydro, etc. So India is a reasonably growing economy, and energy needs are actually the increase in percentage wise that always outstrips the your GDP growth rates also. So over next 10 to 15 years, we expect India's energy needs per capita to grow quite dramatically. So in this, as a country, our effort has to be that as a percentage of total energy usage, our renewables grow much faster than the other aspects. So the coal usage will not decrease, it will actually increase. The fossil fuels will also increase, but our hope is that renewables will increase at a much faster rate, so that in next 5 to 15 years, our percentage of fossil fuels comes down. Now within fossil fuels also, government has taken a lot of steps to make them greener. For example, every drop which comes out of nozzles at our petrol pumps is BS6 compliant. So very clean petrol, diesel that way, compared to earlier versions. So gas usage, not only our ministry but our other ministries also and private sector also is moving towards use of more and more gas. So more gas-based industries, our fertilizer plants are more or less now converted to gas usage rather than naphtha. And so on. So gas usage will increase, even cleaner coal washeries and coal gasification experimental project has started at Talcher. So we expect to move towards slightly greener fossil fuels also. And then the mixing in fossil fuels with biofuels. The ethanol production has been absolutely record-breaking this year, and we do expect to touch 10% soon, and then go even up to 20% over next few years. So now ethanol is being made from rotten food also, rice, maize, etc. Then biodiesel is being promoted in a big way. Our Indian Oil Company flagged their first tanker of biofuel from used cooking oil. That is being promoted. Then we have compressed biogas plants. You hear about a lot of parali burning in Haryana, Punjab, etc. So, 2G ethanol plants, etc., and other compressed biogas plants. So, they will also produce basically gas from agri waste, etc. So, all of this will increase the percentage of greener element in our supply chain. So our imports will also grow because the energy needs will be great. But we expect to grow imports of LNG in a much bigger way. So LNG infra is being promoted by our ministry and our PSUs in a very big way. All the ports and terminals, all the cryogenic tankers, the supply chain, lot of subsidies to LNG based buses, etc. So all of that supply chain is also being set up, and LNG is quite a cleaner fossil fuel compared to others. So that way though our imports will increase, but our indigenous production, especially mixing of this with agri-based fuels, this will also grow. And frankly, the world over, there is a sense that fossil fuels is a sort of sunset industry. So the window for basically new projects in fossil fuels is small. So over next 4 or 5 years, we will see a lot of exploration activities, survey activities in the country. For example, Navy Coast Guard happily agreed 5-6 months back, and a very big survey of the Andaman Basin has started. So if we get some discovery like Bombay High, it will be a big boost. So fingers crossed. So over next 3-4 years, exploration capex of our sector will really shoot up. So we hope that we strike some good discoveries, and our country's import dependence goes down, both for gas and crude oil.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing these pertinent details. Sir, did you ever witness the declinement of demand for petroleum products like ever before? How is the demand for LPG from the domestic sector these days? And has the ministry board discussed the scenario and alternative strategy for continuity in the business?
See, when there was a sudden lockdown last year, March, and practically entire world was shut, US, Europe, and all other countries also. So that time the world demand for petrol, diesel came down drastically, and India's demand also went by 20, 30, 40% at one point in time. I think the worst was about 30% reduction in demand. But then by June, our industry had started opening up and so on. Railways started opening up and demand again grew. And now, again, due to lockdown in many states or partial lockdown in many states, we have about 10 to 15% demand reduction of sort of 2019 averages. We comparing against 2020 is not really a valid comparison. So compared to 2019, we still have some shortages of demand in petrol and diesel, but we hope that as the second wave goes down and vaccination grows, so we'll be back to the same earlier demand levels, and then hopefully next year we'll have better demand than 2019 levels. But LPG, which we saw last year in March, especially all of a sudden, when everyone was basically stuck at home, the LPG demand grew by about 10%. And that time, because our refineries had also sort of reduced their production, though they basically tinkered with the product mix, we had to import LPG last year. And then another thing happened that the government gave 3 free cylinders to Ujjwala, 8 crore Ujjwala holders. So that boosted the demand. And once the basically Ujjwala holders came back into the fold, they started using gas. So even after 3 free gas cylinders, the demand luckily has not gone down much. So Ujjwala holders have also started using the LPG. And now the government has announced another 1 crore Ujjwala connections. So LPG, we see a lot of growth potential. And also,
Yes.
sorry, one more point before you go to next question. Recently, our ministry also took a call that we see a lot of migrant labor. So the male fellow is here, families back home, or we see a lot of students. So they can get now 5 kg Chotu cylinder as an add-on cylinder to their original connection. So we will see a lot of demand usage also in this sector, students and migrant labor, etc. Very easily taking up that subsidized 5 kgs pack and using it.
Right, sir. Sir, in the previous question also you answered in detail about the exploration and production. So the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas is obviously concerned with the exploration and production of oil and natural gas, as well as refining, distribution and marketing, import and export, and conservation of petroleum products. Has the current pandemic put your ongoing projects on hold?
See, we see it in 3 sectors. Upstream is our exploration, so basically ONGC and oil projects of crude oil and gas extraction. Offshore also, onshore also. So we had a lot of issues in offshore that, see, if any pandemic strikes there, it can be disastrous. You have heard about cruise liners and all getting stuck. So luckily we were testing everyone who was going on the basically platforms there, and actually quarantining them for 15 days in Mumbai before they were allowed to hop onto helicopters to go to platforms. So luckily we had that thing under control, and offshore production actually not even sort of 1% went down. We were 24/7 extracting oil outside. So onshore projects also, our production basically did not go down. But new projects, we had issues, and new projects we had actually, it is a lot of global supply chain, global experts who have to come and set up, install things, a lot of places. So we had some issues there. So in upstream, we definitely saw a bit of basically capex shrinkage last year. But luckily on ground, our refineries, our GAIL pipeline projects, the state governments, the district magistrates, we must thank all of them that they let us work in proper safe conditions, and our company spent a lot of money, etc., and effort to ensure that all those projects went ahead. And in fact, our IOC, BPCL, GAIL, they exceeded their capex targets last year. And in fact, basically shutdown also in a sense helps some linear projects, because there is no traffic on the road, there is no other thing impeding their progress. So our pipeline projects, etc., they actually went faster at a few places. But all thanks have to go to not only our PSU, but state governments and district machinery also, which cooperated fully. And also I must point out that our companies have been at the forefront of pandemic fight. I remember in March when there was a sudden shutdown, no person was to be seen on the streets, but our LPG delivery boys, they had to go home to home. Initial days, at a few places, basically enthusiastic police guys, etc. Some of them actually got roughed up also. But we also intervened with a lot of SPs, district magistrates, that this is essential and you have to let people go. And our delivery boys were the only ones who were moving on the ground, on the roads, but also they were going inside the houses when everyone was afraid to go into anyone's house, delivering cylinders, picking up old cylinders. In some societies, even some COVID patients' homes, our guys actually delivered full gas cylinder outside their door, and they said, okay, no problem, we will pick up the empty cylinder for 3 months when you get okay. So all basically everything was put to a test there. And also, for example, now our companies are setting up more than 100 PSA oxygen plants at hospital list given by the health ministry. IOC has shipped in a lot of cryogenic tankers to move oxygen, liquid oxygen, medical oxygen. A lot of LNG tankers have been converted into oxygen tankers. Refineries in the petroleum sector, including private refineries, they are producing more than 1,000 tons of liquid medical oxygen every day. So for example, Panipat, Bina in Madhya Pradesh, Kochi, state governments have set up temporary hospitals next to our refineries, and our guys have set up all the oxygen basically delivery points, etc. So our capex actually went up last year overall, and our companies have really been at the forefront of pandemic fight. And our workers, frontline workers, the LPG delivery boys, the petrol pump attendants, hats off to them that despite lot of casualties, unfortunately there have been lot of casualties also in that sector, even amongst our exploration sector, because everything was working. So, but things have been sort of on, and we have tried to take care of all the employees, even contractual, for example, contractual employees like LPG delivery boys who are actually employed by LPG distribution points, even they are covered under good insurance cover, etc.
Yes, sir, that is the sad part, but on the other side, every crisis brings an opportunity that you explained well. Sir, the ministry also plans to add 100 more districts to the city gas distribution network in next 3 years, and also plans to set up an independent gas transport system operator for facilitation and coordination of open access natural gas pipelines. Can you please elaborate on the plans?
See, the gas sector has grown dramatically in last 6, 7, 8 years. The length of pipelines primarily set up by GAIL that has more than doubled, and now northeast grid is also being set up. So another 2 years, basically each and every corner from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from west to east to absolutely northeast, it will get covered by gas pipelines. Then the city gas distribution, which basically covers CNG for vehicles. That's actually a very big part of that CGD network. Then CNG and gas for industry, and then PNG, piped gas lines to homes. Today we have about 25 crore LPG cylinders and about piped gas to homes. So piped gas has to increase dramatically, especially in cities where it is comparatively sort of area is less, but the complexity is high. Now digging up any municipality, digging across roads, that's a nightmare. So even though the areas are sort of congested, good for piped coverage, but doing new work is tough. Despite that, we have grown from less than 100 districts to more than 400 districts at the moment. So the plan is to cover 100 more districts, plus also basically the district already covered. We have to dramatically expand the usage of piped gas, plus the CNG number of vehicles also. So the CNG independent retail outlets plus CNG cylinder basically delivery at existing petrol diesel pumps. So that is also being encouraged in a big way. A lot of municipal corporations, for example, we always are in constant touch with bigger corporations including DDA etc. in Delhi for basically easier options, some incentives for CNG retail increase, and CNG pipeline is number one. Basically, when we give cheaper allocation of domestic gas, the rates for gas are lowest for, and the priority is number one for city gas distribution network. Then the fertilizer plants, power sector, they get cheaper gas, etc. So CGD is number one priority in that sense. So we will see a lot of increase in CNG outlets, CNG vehicles, and then PNG pipeline at homes. That is broadly the case with the gas. Yep.
Thank you, sir. My last question to you, sir. What are your priorities for the current fiscal 21-22?
So a lot of priorities. First one is that at the moment, number one priority is whatever is the need for pandemic of the country. Our PSUs are at the forefront, whether it is oxygen supply, whatever. Our actually PSUs have tinkered with their product mix, taken a hit in profits, etc. there, but ensured that maximum medical oxygen can be produced. So that's number one, and hopefully by June end, we should see the end of second wave at least. Then on gas, we would like to see GST coming in. I talked a lot about gas-based economy. So if GST comes in, all the state governments come on board. That's very important because that decision is taken by GST Council, not only by central government. If GST in gas sector and then ATF, aviation fuel, that comes about, that will quite transform the gas sector and bring in more private investments also. GAIL also, you guys also covered those stories, that separation of marketing and transport network, independent transport operations, then gas exchange kind of concept, and then open access. Even now to some extent there is an open access policy, and then gas transportation tariffs, PNGRB rationalized them quite a bit 4-5 months back. Then LNG this year will quite in focus. So a lot of capex is being done on LNG infrastructure. on the port side, on the supply chain side, etc. Then EV is also one sector where our ministry, along with 2-3 other ministries, renewables, power sector, etc., national highways, etc. So you will see quite an increase in EV charging point infrastructure in the country, and our capex on this front will also be quite high. Then hydrogen mission is one thing, which again it's a multiple ministry setup, and we all hope across the world there is some sort of breakthrough in hydrogen technology which will make it cheaper. At the moment it's quite expensive, but pollution wise, etc., if you use actually renewables to sort of as input energy, it is quite promising. So some capex will go into hydrogen. And this year then BPCL disinvestment is a big thing for us also, for not only for Deepam and Finance Ministry, but we also sort of stand strongly on this, that a professional sort of disinvestment, good disinvestment happens in that, because in the retail side we hardly have 5% sort of private sector participation at the moment. Almost 95% sales of petrol, diesel are at our PSU outlets. So we want that to be a vibrant competitive market. So BPCL disinvestment will bring vibrancy to the this petrol diesel retail outlet also. But then BPCL also has a lot of other refineries and so on. So that sector will also see then a lot of more competition. One more thing I would like to speak about is that we have been talking of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and a lot of things in our industry. Well, we have actually capex of more than 1 lakh crore in our oil and gas PSUs for last 4-5 years. So there is a lot of dependence on getting specialized steel from outside, lot of accessories from outside, so even your LPG regulators, etc., for example. So then a lot of chemicals, catalysts, there is a lot of import dependence. So at least, and then there is manpower consultancy dependence. So in all these sectors, our PSUs actually have opened up their list of potential imports. We have identified a lot of local industry which can meet those requirements, and our companies are basically even investing in those by way of equity, by way of hand holding, etc., by way of advance orders and so on, so that our local industries can start manufacturing all these material things and chemical things, etc. So we hope that this year we'll see a lot of Indian industry coming up in this, lot of investment in this sector, a lot of new entrepreneurs becoming millionaires by setting up this kind of thing. So the startup handshake is very strong in our ministry.
Sir, can you please also elaborate on the gas-based economy opportunities for private players and role of the state governments briefly?
See, one is the LNG. So the whole supply chain, there will be a lot of private sector participation. On port side also now, basically a lot of private ports are getting involved. So the entire LNG chain. Then compressed biogas. The target is 5,000 compressed biogas, which costs about 20 to 50 crore type of stuff depending on the tonnage, etc. And our oil sector PSUs are assuring 15 years sort of offtake of their output, and also helping them in handshaking with banks, etc. So 1700 LOIs have been given. We can go up to 5,000. So private sector participation in compressed biogas is obviously more than welcome. Then CGD network. Though GAIL and its JVs and our other OMCs JVs also participate, but it's now more or less a private sector game. The whole CGD sector, setting up CNG, PNG, etc. So new private players have come up, Adani's and lot of other players, and frankly with the fantastic market caps. So the share market is also really heavily betting on all gas-based companies. So the private sector participation is actually very high in this. And like I said, everything, whether gas cylinder or regulators or pipelines, gas pipelines, obviously Jindal Steel, Tata Steel, lot of other companies, they get involved. So basically it's private sector. So if you are spending 1 lakh capex, a little bit of it might be coming from sale or other PSUs. It's all private sector which is providing us this stuff. And otherwise also I said BPCL disinvestment, we are thoroughly behind it. We want more competition in the sector, and so it's a lot of private sector participation happening as in petrochem sector also.
Right, sir. Thank you for elaborating this in a very nice way. And what an enriching session it was. With this, I conclude this fireside chat. On behalf of the ET government, the Economic Times, I sincerely thank our special guest, Mr. Rajesh Agrawal, Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, for sharing his knowledge with ET government. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Arpit, and thank you, Economic Times, for this opportunity to share my thoughts with them.